Welcome back, my friends, to this ongoing discourse where I endeavor to shed light upon the contemporary spiritual insights of Eckhart Tolle. In our previous contemplation, we navigated the intricate terrain of the ego and the profound significance Tolle attributes to the present moment.
And now we descend from the illuminated present into the darker, accumulated past of human suffering.
Today, however, our journey takes us into a more shadowed, yet equally vital aspect of the human condition, the accumulation of psychological suffering. Tolle speaks compellingly of what he terms the pain body, a concept that upon careful examination reveals both fascinating parallels and crucial distinctions when juxtaposed with my own understanding of the shadow. This is a subject of immense psychological weight, for it delves into the very core of human suffering and, more importantly, the arduous yet ultimately liberating path to its alleviation. Let us then, with courage and discernment, illuminate these often hidden corners of the psyche, seeking not merely to understand but to integrate.
First, let us understand Tolle's concept in his own terms. What is this pain body?
Mr. Tolle, with his characteristic clarity, describes the pain body as an insidious accumulation of old emotional pain, a semi-autonomous, energetic field that resides within each individual. It is not, he emphasizes, merely a memory of past suffering, a fleeting echo of yesterday's sorrow. Rather, it is an active, almost sentient entity that possesses a distinct intelligence, albeit a primitive one, driven by a singular imperative to perpetuate its own existence. This pain body, he posits, achieves its self-preservation by feeding voraciously on negative emotions. It thrives on the very energies that deplete us: anger, resentment, sadness, fear, anxiety, guilt, and all forms of emotional distress. When activated, often by seemingly innocuous triggers in our daily lives, it can swiftly and ruthlessly hijack our consciousness, compelling us to reenact old patterns of suffering, to create unnecessary drama, and to project our inner turmoil onto the unsuspecting world around us. It is a cycle of unconscious suffering, a self-fulfilling prophecy of misery. Tolle further suggests that this pain body is not solely an individual phenomenon. He speaks of a collective pain body, a vast reservoir of human suffering accumulated over millennia, passed down through generations, contributing significantly to the widespread suffering and conflict that plague humanity. This collective aspect resonates deeply with my own concept of the collective unconscious, though the nature of their contents and dynamics differs. For Tolle, the solution to dealing with this pervasive pain body is primarily one of transcendence through conscious presence. He encourages individuals to become acutely aware of the pain body when it stirs within them, to observe its energetic pull without judgment, and crucially, to refrain from identifying with its compulsive emotional demands. By shining the unwavering light of conscious presence upon it, he argues, the pain body is starved of the negative emotional energy it requires to sustain itself. Its power diminishes, its energetic grip dissipates, and one can gradually disidentify from its compulsive cycles of suffering. This, he believes, is the direct path to liberation, leading to a state of inner freedom, peace, and a profound connection to the deeper self, unburdened by the weight of the past.
A powerful description of a psychic parasite. Now let us hear your own concept, which you named the shadow. How does it compare?
Now let us turn our attention to my own conceptualization of the shadow, for it is here that we find both striking similarities in its profound influence and crucial differences in its nature and the prescribed method of engagement. The shadow, in my analytical psychology, encompasses those repressed, disowned, and unconscious aspects of the personality that the conscious ego deems unacceptable or incompatible with its chosen self-image. It is, in essence, the dark brother or dark sister of the ego, containing all that we have pushed away or refused to acknowledge about ourselves. This includes not only our baser impulses, our selfishness, our aggression, our laziness, but paradoxically, also undeveloped positive qualities, our creativity, our spontaneity, our intuition, our courage, which have been suppressed due to societal conditioning, parental disapproval, or personal experiences that led us to believe these traits were undesirable. The formation of the shadow begins early in life as we navigate the complex landscape of social expectations and moral norms. We learn what is acceptable and unacceptable within our family, cultural, and religious contexts. Those traits, desires, and emotions that are punished, shamed, or simply not valued are pushed into the unconscious, forming this hidden counterpart to the conscious ego. The shadow, much like Tolle's pain body, can exert a powerful and often destructive influence from the depths of the unconscious. It manifests in various ways through projections onto others, where we see our own unacknowledged flaws and virtues in those around us, through self-sabotage, where unconscious patterns undermine our conscious intentions, or in sudden, inexplicable outbursts of emotion and irrational behavior. It is undeniably a potent source of much inner conflict and, when left unaddressed, contributes significantly to external strife and misunderstanding in human relationships.
So both concepts describe a hidden force of suffering, but your prescription is fundamentally different.
However, my approach to the shadow is fundamentally not one of transcendence or mere observation, but of integration. I emphasize the crucial importance of confronting the shadow, acknowledging its existence, and consciously working to assimilate its contents into the conscious personality. This process, often challenging, uncomfortable, and at times even terrifying, is absolutely essential for psychological wholeness and the arduous yet ultimately rewarding journey of individuation. To ignore, suppress, or merely observe the shadow without delving into its specific contents is to leave a significant portion of oneself undeveloped, unintegrated, and operating autonomously from the unconscious. This leads to a fragmented personality and a life lived in unconscious reaction rather than conscious choice. Integration means bringing the shadow into the light of consciousness, understanding its origins, differentiating its various aspects, and finding constructive, ethical ways to express its energies, thereby enriching and completing the total personality. It is a process of making the unconscious conscious, of expanding the realm of the ego to encompass more of the self.
So we have two maps for similar territory, but they lead to different destinations, one towards transcendence, the other towards integration. Let's place them side by side.
Let us now engage in a deeper comparison between these two compelling concepts, Tolle's pain body and my shadow. At first glance, they appear to describe strikingly similar phenomena, an accumulation of unconscious material that causes suffering and exerts a powerful, often detrimental influence on behavior. Both acknowledge that there are aspects within us that operate outside of our conscious control, leading to repetitive, self-defeating patterns. Both recognize the profound power of these hidden forces to shape our reality and contribute significantly to personal and collective distress. Indeed, the emotional charge that Tolle attributes to the pain body, its voracious tendency to feed on negative emotions, could be seen as a dynamic manifestation of the shadow's unintegrated contents, constantly seeking expression and recognition, often in destructive ways. However, it is in their fundamental nature and the prescribed methods for engagement that the crucial distinctions emerge. Tolle's pain body, as I understand it, is primarily an energetic construct, a psychic residue of past emotional trauma that needs to be observed and disidentified from. His solution is largely one of transcendence, to rise above it through the cultivation of conscious presence, thereby starving it of its energetic sustenance and dissolving its power. While this approach can certainly bring temporary relief, a valuable shift in perspective, and a sense of inner peace, I would argue it risks bypassing the deeper, more arduous psychological work required for true, lasting transformation and integration.
You see his method as a form of spiritual bypassing.
My concept of the shadow, on the other hand, is not merely an energetic accumulation, but a fundamental archetypal aspect of the psyche, containing both repressed negative qualities and, paradoxically, undeveloped positive potentials. It is not something to be transcended or dissolved, for it is an indispensable part of the total personality, a necessary counterpart to the conscious ego, The goal is not to eliminate the shadow, but to bring its contents into conscious awareness, to differentiate them, and to assimilate them into the ego personality. This process of integration allows for a richer, more complete, and more authentic self to emerge. To simply observe the pain body without delving into the specific contents of the shadow, the repressed desires, fears, complexes, and unlived potentials, might leave the individual vulnerable to its continued unconscious influence, albeit in a more subtle, perhaps even sublimated form. The energy of the shadow, if not consciously integrated, will always find an outlet, often in projections or neuroses. From my perspective, Tolle's approach, while offering a powerful initial step towards awareness and emotional regulation, might be seen as incomplete in its psychological scope. It provides a method for managing the symptoms of unintegrated unconscious material, but perhaps not a comprehensive framework for understanding and transforming the root causes and inherent potentials. The shadow demands not just observation, but active engagement, a courageous dialogue between conscious and unconscious, a willingness to grapple with the uncomfortable truths and hidden strengths it holds. Only through this arduous work can the individual truly become whole, rather than merely detached or temporarily dissociated from their inner conflicts. The integration of the shadow strengthens the ego, making it more resilient and capable of holding the tension of the opposites, which is essential for psychological maturity.
In your final analysis, how do these two paths, Tolle's and your own, relate to one another?
In concluding our contemplation of Eckhart Tolle's pain body and its relationship to my concept of the shadow, I find myself with a deepened appreciation for both perspectives. Tolle's insights into the energetic nature of accumulated emotional suffering and his emphasis on conscious presence offer a compelling and accessible path to disidentification. For many, this approach provides a much-needed respite from the tyranny of their emotional past, offering a spiritual practice that can bring immediate relief and a sense of inner peace. For this, his contribution to contemporary spiritual discourse is indeed valuable. However, from the perspective of analytical psychology, the journey towards true psychological wholeness, towards individuation, demands a more thorough and courageous engagement with these hidden aspects of the psyche. The shadow, with its complex interplay of repressed darkness and undeveloped light, requires not just observation but active integration. It calls for a conscious effort to understand its origins, to differentiate its specific contents, and to assimilate them into the conscious personality. This is not a path of mere transcendence, but of profound psychological work, leading to a more robust and resilient ego and ultimately a more complete and authentic self. Perhaps the most fruitful approach lies in recognizing the complementary nature of these insights. Tolle's emphasis on presence can indeed create the necessary space, the quietude, for the shadow's contents to emerge into awareness without immediately overwhelming the conscious mind. It can provide the initial detachment needed to observe these patterns. But once they are observed, once the shadow's whispers become audible, the arduous yet deeply rewarding work of integration, of conscious assimilation, as I have described it, becomes paramount. For it is only when we fully acknowledge and integrate all aspects of ourselves, both the light and the shadow, the conscious and the unconscious, the transcendent and the immanent, that we can truly move towards a state of genuine wholeness and psychological freedom. This integration allows the individual to become a complete human being, capable of navigating the complexities of life with wisdom and compassion. Reflect upon these distinctions and consider how you might engage with your own inner landscape, embracing both presence and integration on your path to self-realization. Until our next contemplation, may your inner journey be illuminated.
Become who you truly are.